Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the High Tempo Sports Podcast, episode 172. We are back for another weekly episode. Last episode, we did another version of the 25 words or less. It was Easton and Seth versus Jake and Ivan. Go check it out if you did not. It was a really fun episode once again. Crazy ending. It was pretty unreal. So go check that out if you haven't yet. Today, though, we are back to talk about some NFL playoffs along with some NBA rumors, and then we have a little draft we're going to do at the end of today's episode. So let's hop right into it.
Let's go.
This past weekend, actually, I do want to pull up to see how we did picking the games. But this weekend, let's talk about the games that happened. Obviously, the NFC Championship game is going to be the 49ers versus the Eagles, and the AFC Championship game is going to be the Chiefs versus the Bengals. So let's talk about each game that happened. First, actually, why am I have it? Oh, yeah. Jacksonville versus Kansas City. This game was decent.
It was decent. No Patrick Mahomes definitely affects the watchability of the game versus a normal Kansas City.
He played the whole game mostly. He just missed one drive.
I guess he just missed the last drive.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, still, the Kansas City still won pretty easily in this game. And even though Jacksonville did cover at plus 8.5, I bet on Kansas City minus 8.5, and they were up by 10, and then Jacksonville comes down and scores a meaningless field goal with I don't even know, 30 seconds left in the game or something. So we both picked Kansas City to win, and I picked the spread. You picked Jacksonville plus 8.5, so you got that one correct. And then the other Saturday game was the Giants versus the Eagles. Terrible game. This game, terrible in the eyes of it, just wasn't an entertaining game. Philly dominated. It was a great run for the Giants this year, but Philly just dominated them.
Yeah, Philly's the better team. I'm really excited now that we're into the championship weekend. I'm so excited to see who goes to the Super Bowl this weekend. It should be so much fun.
But yeah, Philadelphia, they looked like the team that they have looked of most of the year. Reason they're the 1 seed. They dominated. They covered minus 7.5 absolutely easily. You took that minus 7.5 and them to win. I took the Giants plus 7.5. So I went 0 for 2 on Saturday. You went 2 for 2 spread wise. But for the Giants, them coming back next year, they have to make some decisions. Obviously, Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley are both free agents. I assume they'll both be back. I wouldn't expect them to, unless they go get an upgrade at quarterback, but I don't really see it happening. So they should be solid again next year. They have a nice young coach in Brian Dable, who's probably going to win Coach of the Year. By the way, Dan Campbell snubbed as a Coach of the Year finalist.
Not even a finalist. Wild.
Yeah.
It's did you even watch this year?
Yeah.
And middle of the year, I was saying he shouldn't be a finalist. End of the year, he should win the whole award.
Yeah.
Maybe Brian Dable.
He should at least be I don't expect him to win the award because we didn't make the playoffs, but.
Yep.
We also stomped on the Giants at their place, so that's all I'm saying. But yeah, Giants, they do have some decisions to make, but they should be good to go. Sunday, these were the I think the more anticipated games, I would say. The 3 o'clock game on Sunday, Bengals-Bills. This game did not go as most people expected it to go. We'll talk a little bit more about, because I think we all expected Kansas City and Philly to win these two games.
Yeah, definitely.
On Saturday. So it's when we talk about what Jacksonville could have done differently or what are they going to do going forward. They're two young teams that are going to continuously get better. These other two teams are in weird different spots, so we'll talk about that a little more. But yeah, Cincinnati defeats Buffalo. I think 27-10 or 24-10 was the final score. Pretty much domination from Cincinnati on the defensive end. The weather was not the greatest, but it's not like Buffalo's not used to playing in that. Cincinnati either. And then for picks wise, I picked the Bengals to win straight up. You picked the Bills to win, but Cincy to cover. So you are 3 for 3 on the spread so far. But yeah, this game was Cincinnati dominated.
Yeah, it wasn't even close from the start, and you could see it in the players throughout the game. The Bills players continued to get more and more frustrated, specifically Stephon Diggs. It was a really bad loss for the Bills because they got routed on their own field, and the Bengals just dominated them. It was so weird. It wasn't at all how I expected it to go. It was just a terrible game for the Bills.
Yeah, the Bills are in a weird spot heading into free agency because they've been in this championship window or whatever you could say for the last 3 years. They've made it to only one AFC championship game, but they made it to the divisional round the last 2 years. And they're a great team. They're one of the better teams in the NFL. They have a pretty good defense. They have one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. But I just don't know what is next for Buffalo because there is a lot of young teams in the AFC that are going to continuously getting better. Kansas City's obviously not going anywhere. Cincinnati's not going anywhere. Buffalo can't make it over the hump, and I just don't know how much longer they have to try to keep getting over the hump. But it's not like you're just going to trade away Josh Allen. So
yeah, absolutely.
So I don't really know what they do.
You're basically retooling and seeing if you can go out and do it again and hopeful that Josh Allen can win you a lot of football games. But the Diggs stuff after the game was really, really bad. Did you read any of that?
I just saw that he was upset about losing.
So he said before the rest of the team could even get back to the locker room after the loss, Diggs has already packed up his stuff and was walking out with his bag and leaving before the coaches had talked to anybody.
Dang.
And somebody had to track him down. It was yo, come back. And he was like, oh, bleh.
Yeah.
He was not game. He wanted to leave. It's just a really bad look. You saw him and Josh Allen going at it on the sidelines. And it might be, competitors go at it all the time, but it's a really bad look for Buffalo.
Yeah, and Stephon Diggs did tweet something about it. He said,
Yeah.
you expect me to just be cool with losing. So I don't think it's anything too deep as far as he wants out or anything.
No, me either.
But maybe Buffalo explores drafting a wide receiver, but they have Jordan Poyer, who's one of the better safeties in the NFL, as a free agent. Don't know if they can bring him back. A couple of their offensive linemen are free agents. Devin Singletary's a free agent. Not that he's a big piece or anything, but this Buffalo team doesn't have a lot of money and flexibility to make moves in the offseason unless you trade somebody away to create money. So they're going to have to hit on their draft picks, hopefully, and add some playmakers on this offense because their offense is Josh Allen. And it got to a point where he's phenomenal. But your offense can't be, you look at the Kansas City Chiefs offense, you can say Patrick Mahomes is their offense, but he's really not because he gets the ball to so many different guys and they utilize them so well. Buffalo is, all right, Josh, go make a play.
Yep.
Go make a play. Every play. And it's they don't run the ball. When they do, it's him scrambling. Their offense is not very dynamic. And with a quarterback like Josh Allen, you really can't afford to continue it to be this way. So I'm not sure what they're going to do. I don't know what the plan is. But like you said, at worst they retool and they are a playoff team, first round exit, which sucks. But they're still going to be a good team.
Yeah, this team is it feels like the window is already closing very quickly, even though you still have Josh Allen, so the window can reopen at any moment. They surround him with the right talent, but right now it just seems like they're not doing enough. And I would say a lot of it is their offensive scheme and how they like to do it. It's just not smart when they're not flexible enough as an offense.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens with them going forward, but as of right now, they are out. And then the last game on Sunday, the 6:30 game, Dallas versus San Francisco. San Francisco wins late. We both picked, I picked Dallas to upset San Francisco, so I got that one wrong. So obviously I took Dallas +3, which did not hit. You took San Fran and San Fran -3, which did hit. This was an ugly game. This was a defensive battle, which I expected it to be. Both quarterbacks played pretty iffy. Dak Prescott obviously did not play well at all. And the Cowboys had multiple opportunities to win this game, and they didn't. Especially one of the plays that really points out is that Kevontae Turpin kick return where he gets it to about the 40-45, and he could have scored a touchdown on that, but he lets Robbie Gould take him down. And that play is just it's obviously not his fault that they lost or anything, but he gets up and celebrates. It's dude, you cut that outside. You were scoring a touchdown to tie this game up. Obviously it didn't happen. But Dallas, they lose in a game that they could have won, but once again they lose before the championship round. They haven't made the championship round in the NFC since the 90s or something. So
that's insane for their franchise. Dak played terrible in this game. Me and Seth were watching this one together after he had gotten home from basketball, and we couldn't believe, for every other play that Dak was on offense, we were saying, Dak, what are you doing back there? And then the last set of downs was terrible. His picks he had so many pickable balls in this game, and not that Brock Purdy didn't, because he definitely threw his fair share of pickable balls. They shouldn't get picked. And Dax, he had 2 in the first half, and then he almost threw like 2 or 3 game-sealing interceptions early in the fourth quarter. And then that last drive, again, very first play, it gets jumped, and he was lucky that it didn't get picked off. Dak played really, really, really bad. And I know Jerry Jones is a rock with his guys type of owner, so I'm really curious to see what happens this offseason with a lot of things. They have a lot of questions, too, especially between like Pollard. Are they going to return Pollard? What does it look like? I mean, do you just roll with Dak after how bad he was? I mean, he hasn't shown that he can step up in these big moments.
Yeah, it's tough because, like, it's pretty easy to say, like, oh, Dak was a problem, we got to replace Dak. But it's like, how are you going to replace Dak? You know, like, it's much more easier said than done to say we need to get a better quarterback. I don't know who's available that you can go get. That's, you know, like, can you go get Derek Carr? One, I don't know if you can. Two, does he make the difference?
Yeah.
Does Tom Brady make the difference? You know, I don't think he goes to Dallas, like, because they would have to trade Dak away, then go trade for another QB. I don't see that happening. So it's like, as much as Dak is the problem and the reason that they lost, you know, in throwing all these interceptions, I don't see how you can go get somebody that's better than Dak Prescott. So they're in a really tough spot. As far as like Pollard and Zeke goes, it's tough because like Tony Pollard he tore his fibula or something, or broke his fibula, so he's going to be out for quite some time. Zeke Elliott said he would take a pay cut to come back, so I don't know if they want to run back Pollard and cool. Zeke. But Pollard is a free agent, but he's injured, so I don't know what that is going to affect his free agency. But either way, Dallas they had a good year, you know.
Yeah, they did.
Then one of the better years in a while. They had a good year last year as well. They have a good defense. They have CeeDee Lamb. You know, they probably are going to go get another wide receiver, I assume, but I don't know what they're going to do either.
Yeah, they're another team that feels like, and they're not stuck in no man's land. They're going to be right back, and they can be right back in the same spot next year that they were this year. I mean, their defense is only improving. It's not like Micah Parsons or Trayvon Diggs are in their prime yet, I wouldn't even say. Micah Parsons is dominating the league, and it's his second year. So this team their defense especially is going to continue to get better, I think. They just need the offense to keep up, and I think they will be in the same spot next year.
Probably. It's just tough because that division is good now, you know, and like the Giants are going to get better. Washington's probably going to get an upgrade at QB, so who knows with that division? It's kind of hard to tell there. But let's predict this week's games. This is tough. I still really don't know who I want to pick yet, but we're going to do it right now. So first game, San Francisco. These are both on Sunday, by the way. San Francisco at Philly. Philly opened, or not opened, but right now they are 2.5-point favorites against the 49ers. I think it's been that way. I don't think it's changed. This is hard because these are the two best teams in the NFC. I think we've been talking about this all year, that like these are the two teams you don't want to play in the NFC. It's hard. Like, this is actually cool because I think I could see any one of these 4 teams winning the Super Bowl.
Me too.
There's no like team that doesn't belong here, which is pretty cool.
Yep.
Let me know what's your prediction first.
The AFC for me is way harder, so I'm going to start in the NFC. And the NFC is only easy because I picked the 49ers really early in the year. So I'm sticking with the Niners are going to win this football game. I do think they should win this game, but Brock Purdy didn't play well last week. It wasn't his best game. Christian McCaffrey took him a while to get rolling last week. Yeah, it was last week that he took a while. Yeah. Last week took a while to get rolling. But I still think the 49ers are the better football team. They're just so dynamic. George Kittle was awesome last week, too. He played so well.
This is tough because, like, I really do think that the 49ers might have a better all-around team. But will Brock Purdy make the Super Bowl?
It's crazy.
I don't think so. I'm going to take the Eagles to win this game, and I'm going to take them to cover -2.5 as well. I think they could win by 3. This is going to be a really good game. I'm excited for this game. I don't really know who I want to win. It doesn't really matter to me. Like we always talk about like how the NFL is so hard to predict because it's like it changes so much every year. But it's weird to think that, you know, Philly has like, you know, they won the Super Bowl like 5 years ago. They're like the outlier here. But San Francisco has made the NFC Championship game 3 out of the last 4 years. Cincinnati made it 2 years in a row. Kansas City has made it 5 years in a row.
It's crazy.
Pretty weird that it's like these teams, even though there's always like, oh, it's so hard to pick
It's always random. New team every year.
Exactly. But yeah, I'm going to take Philly to win this one. And then the later game, Cincinnati at Kansas City. This one is a really tricky game as far as betting on because I saw an interesting tweet. There's this guy, John Ewing on Twitter. He works for BetMGM. He just tweets a lot of like the line movement on BetMGM. We're going off of FanDuel, but it's still the same line anyways. So Cincinnati opened on Sunday night at +1.5, and now they are -1 to win, and they were -2.5 yesterday. So we're recording this on Wednesday, by the way. So everyone's betting on Cincy because of Patrick Mahomes. So they moved it, Cincy as favors. So everyone starts betting on Kansas City, and no one really is. So they decided to put Cincy only at -1 now. So no, I don't really understand what's
weird.
going on. He says on BetMGM that 75% is on Cincy money line and 77% is on Cincinnati to cover. So this is on BetMGM, but I assume it is probably very similar on FanDuel and all your other betting sites as well. So this is tough because Cincinnati is a road favorite in the AFC Championship game. There is very few times in NFL recent history where the road team is favored to win in the championship game. So I don't know what to do here.
This game is like, I have no idea how this game is going to end up playing out. I like both these football teams. I'm not a fan of either of them, but I do like both of them. I like both of their QBs. I like Jamar Chase. I don't have a team that I would rather win. And it is so tough, especially with the Mahomes injury. We don't really know what he's going to look like. He's going to be on one leg, and he's going to play. I almost guarantee he plays. And, it's his 5th time. Joe Burrow was there last year. I have no idea what this game looks like. My gut is telling me to go with the Bengals. Like, my gut has been just, since the Bengals won, I've been thinking about this. And it's just, who am I going to pick between the Chiefs and the Bengals? I'm going to go with my gut. My gut's saying the Bengals are going to go back to the Super Bowl this season. But this game, I'm much more excited for this game than I am the 49ers-Eagles game. This game,
both games should be good, but yeah, I'm excited for this one too. Cincinnati has won 3 straight games the last 2 years against the Chiefs. They've had their number. One of the few teams that has consistently beaten the Chiefs the last couple years. Obviously, they did it in the playoffs last year after the Chiefs' miraculous win against Buffalo. They tell you to fade the public, but this is a different situation because of the Mahomes injury. The Chiefs they looked much different after Mahomes got injured. At least Mahomes did, and it's hard to be as much of a playmaker as he is on a bum ankle. It's a high ankle sprain. I'm also going to take the Cincinnati Bengals here. I mean, -1. It's pretty much a pick'em game. So. Yeah, I'm going with the Bengals here to have a Bengals-Eagles Super Bowl. You're going with Bengals-Niners Super Bowls.
Both would be awesome.
Both would be awesome Super Bowls for sure.
It is weird now that you mention it. Any one of these teams, like for real, I can just picture winning Super Bowl. I could have pictured them winning the Super Bowl 9 weeks ago.
Yeah,
I could have said you could have named off these 4 teams.
Probably, yeah.
And I'd be like, yeah, I could see each one of those guys winning the Super Bowl.
That's true, yeah. Which is kind of cool to see, because it is the best teams probably available right now. So yeah, that is our picks. Let's quickly, before we move on to NBA stuff, let's talk about Aaron Rodgers, because there's a lot of talk going on with Aaron Rodgers right now as far as leaving the Green Bay Packers. The New York Jets have been in a lot of rumors. They said that they would pay the price for Aaron Rodgers. Then Adam Schefter reported yesterday that the Packers will not trade him to an NFC team. It's got to be to an AFC team, which I'll take that for sure.
I guess, but it's kind of weird. It is a little weird.
They just don't want to play him, I guess. And then
the revenge game. They must be afraid of it.
They're scared of that. We have to trade him to a division that we aren't playing next year too. And then today, Aaron Rodgers was, or I don't know if this was today, or I think he's on there Tuesdays, but he was on the Pat McAfee show, pretty much talking about leaving the Packers and what it would be like to leave the Packers. And he just said, yeah, I would, I'm not gonna sit here and act like it's not an option. I've definitely thought about not being on the Packers next year. And I'm still gonna continue to play, at a high level and blah blah blah.
Just
and even
bullshit.
Joe Namath said that he would happily unretire his number 12 from the Jets for Aaron Rodgers to come play there.
You don't need him
dude, quit trying to draw. He's not even a part of the organization, dude. Why are you trying to draw him in like that?
And that is such weird, praise.
Yeah.
Why would you unretire your number? Oh, that's gross. I don't like that at all.
It did happen with Cade Cunningham on the Pistons.
Yeah. But he was drafted to the Pistons. And, Aaron Rodgers, you're unretiring for a guy who very well A, has never played for a franchise, B, could just lose in the NFC Championship over and over again. Like
They'd be AFC Championship.
Or AFC,
yeah. I get what you're saying, though, yeah. That's funny, yeah. I don't know what's going to happen there in Rodgers. Like I said, me and Eason, we're going to do our quarterback predictions episode. Fun, I want to do that like right after the Super Bowl. I think that'd be fun to do because it's just like before there's any rumors of trades
totally
and anything,
in the air.
Just who we go through every team. And obviously, most teams are going to be, we know who the quarterback is next year, but some teams, it's going to be like, where are we going to predict Derek Carr to go? Where are we going to predict Rodgers? Even Lamar Jackson, Tom Brady, the rookies.
There's some big names who could be on the move, huge names, and it feels like that is the case every year.
Is Dak Prescott going to be, like who knows? Is Trey Lance going to be starting for a different team? Who knows? So
does Zach Wilson start wherever he is?
Probably not. I don't know.
Do you send Zach Wilson to the Packers for Aaron Rodgers?
They got Jordan Love though.
Yeah,
they have to start Jordan.
They have to. The moment Rodgers leaves, they have no option other to start Jordan Love.
Yeah, I mean, or else you wouldn't get rid of Aaron Rodgers.
Good point.
So, so that's we're gonna do that episode. That's gonna be really fun. I'm excited for that. Lastly, let's talk a little bit about the Lions. We're gonna talk a little bit about them up until the draft because we're all so excited. Obviously, an interesting topic got brought up on the network that I dislike, the Woodward Sports Network. I don't like listening to them guys, but some of the guys there bring up interesting hypotheticals, I guess, to think about. And I don't necessarily agree with this one, but this was just one that was brought up that I haven't necessarily thought about. And they were saying that what if basically free agency happens before the draft in the NFL? So what if basically, the Lions, we have a good amount of money. We decide to spend money on defense. We're win now. Let's go get the defenders. Let's sign a corner. Let's sign an interior lineman, a linebacker. And in the draft, we were so good on offense this year that why just say we're content with our offense instead of making it even better? Do what you're good at and make it even better. Mm-hmm. So why not use those first 2 picks and draft a wide receiver or a running back or an offensive lineman or a tight end? Basically, they didn't say anything about offensive linemen. So basically, drafting with 2 of those or both first round picks, drafting wide receiver, tight end / running back with 2 of them. It's an interesting concept. I do understand where they're coming from.
Yeah, and I get it, and I really do. But I just think it would really become a crowded locker room on offense if you try to toss another wide receiver or running back in. Tight end, I understand. Is there any huge tight end prospects though?
Yeah, Michael Mayer is from Notre Dame. He's the top tight end prospect. He's not going to be like Brock Bowers is next year from Georgia. He's going to be like the next Kyle Pitts type of prospect. Gotcha. But Michael Mayer should be a top half of the first round draft. But he'll probably be the only tight end that goes in the first round.
I wouldn't mind getting a tight end, but I just think running back or wide receiver sounds crazy to me with the amount of talent we have there. And we have 6 receivers that we could barely pick between this year.
And I mean, I would assume that if you are drafting a wide receiver, it means that DJ Chark was signed by another team. That would be my if you do draft. I mean, if you re-sign DJ Chark, you don't draft a wide receiver unless you sign DJ Chark to another 1-year deal and you plan on not bringing him back. But I assume he is going to get a long-term deal either with us or another team.
Yeah,
so
me too.
So yeah, I see where they're coming from. Especially they talked about drafting Bijan Robinson with that 18th pick, saying that maybe Jamal Williams gets a bag from another team. And, you want to keep having a deadly duo there at running back. Or maybe you decide to move on from DeAndre Swift, which I don't agree with. A lot of them Woodward Sports Networks guy believe that DeAndre Swift is not the future or whatever. So it's an interesting concept. I don't like you said, I don't necessarily agree with it. But if you do decide to spend defense in free agency, what does that leave you to draft with those picks?
Yeah,
So
definitely.
It's definitely up in the air for that.
So who are some of the defensive players that we could go out and get this offseason? Who are some big name defensive free agents?
I mean, there's not the one that has been getting talked about a lot is Deron Payne from the Commanders. He's an interior defensive lineman. Okay. He's the big name that's at least being connected to Detroit. I don't know if necessarily he's the biggest guy out there, because the Lions don't have a crap ton of cap space. They have to cut other guys to create a crap ton of cap space.
Yeah, and then we have to re-sign Jamal, who is going to demand a lot more money. Yeah, he deserves it.
but like they have guys that they are probably going to cut a good amount of dudes to create even more money. CJ Gardner-Johnson, who's a corner/safety from the Eagles, he had a career year this year. He's a free agent. He's a little bit on the older side, so you probably don't have to pay him a lot. He would be a nice addition to our team. Other than like I don't know a lot of the top defensive free agents off the top of my head. That's something I'm gonna look more at once the season's over. But one of the topics, I don't know if we've talked about this on here or not. I can't remember, but there is a discussion about the Lions cutting Jeff Okudah, which because he has like a $10 to $12 million cap hit that we would free that up if we cut him. So do we want to bring him back if we plan on, like if you're hypothetically saying we're bringing in 2 corners that are going to play over him, it's not worth keeping him to be the third string corner on the team. It's tough. It's a tough decision to make because you drafted him 3rd overall, and this was his first full year.
And he was solid.
He impressed the first half. Definitely struggled in the second half of the year, and he struggled with injury. I don't think we should do it, but it's another one of those things that we do have to think about.
It just feels like such a Detroit move for us to give up on Okudah so early. And him to go to another team, and all of a sudden he's an all-pro corner for 4 straight seasons. And he hasn't shown us that yet. I mean, at the start of the year, he actually looked like he had that potential. But he said back half of the year wasn't great. And the injuries is the big thing. He continues to get hurt, and he hasn't really been on the field.
Right. And
like we've mentioned on this, one of our favorite quotes is, availability is the best ability. You need to be able to play football, especially if you're taking up $10 to $12 million at corner.
And, one of the things that support that argument is, that Jeff Okudah was the last draft of the Quintricia era. No, it wasn't Brad Holmes' draft. So, to him, that's just a guy that's on the team that's getting paid. It's not like, oh, we spent the 3rd overall pick on this guy.
Yeah, that's a good point.
To him, it's not. It's just a guy that's making a good amount of money that isn't worth that amount of money.
Yeah, it's not his man.
But I still think that Jeff Okudah should be on the Lions next year.
Yeah, I hope so.
I think he could be a very good cornerback too. You get somebody next to him that is much better. There's been talks about us trading for Jalen Ramsey, talks about us trading for Marshawn Lattimore. It's just speculation. It's not like the Lions are saying anything about it.
No, yeah.
So
I just don't even know what does a trade for a great corner look like?
Probably the 18th pick. Probably the 18th pick, or maybe both of our 2nd round picks, something like that.
Dude, Jalen Ramsey is a Detroit Lion.
Is he though? Does he fit the culture? Because that's the big thing. Is like you can bring in players, but like they gotta fit what we're doing.
I think he's got the dog in him.
I think so.
I think he's got that dog.
Ramsey's a difficult one with me because
he's definitely got an ego.
He's got a major ego.
But like, don't all good corners?
But like the Lions guys they're weird to me. Like I could just see Ramsey coming in and being like, I'm the top dog here, and y'all are like I get the assignments.
Yes.
Like stuff like that. And it's just like I don't want him coming in with this.
Yeah.
I'm better than you guys type thing.
It has to be still the
Lions
team
are all a team. Like we are a unit. Not saying that Ramsey couldn't be like that, but that's just the kind of the vibes I get from Jalen Ramsey.
It would be nice to kind of have one alpha dog. Oh,
it for sure would.
It'd have somebody who's like, I'm the alpha on D, and he is. He would be. There's a reason he would think that.
Definitely,
he'd be our best offensive player by far. Well, him and Hutch would have to fight out for it, but
So we'll see what happens. We have a lot of time to continue to discuss Lions offseason, but. Once the season's over, though, we are going to do a lot more like prediction type of things for draft and free agency and everything. All right, we're going to talk NBA news because the trade deadline is pretty close. It's like 2 weeks away. It might even be sooner than that. It's the 25th.
And we've had 2 trades.
I think it's like February 6th or something. It's pretty close. Yeah. It's coming up. We've had 2 trades, the Rui Hachimura trade. We're going to get into that. However, I have another quiz for you. We did a little slight trivia thing last week, so we're doing it again. Do you have one for me too?
Yeah, I do.
Do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first? All right. So last week I quizzed Eason on All-Stars. I gave him 6 players, and 3 of them had made the All-Star game. 3 of them haven't. I have something similar this week.
All right.
So we are doing. I have 6 players for you. 3 of them are averaging 20 points per game on the season. 3 of them are not. You need to tell me which ones are averaging over 20 points per game and which ones aren't.
Cool.
Are you ready?
Yep.
All right, I will repeat any ones that you need.
Okay.
1 through 6. Kelly Oubre, Fred VanVleet, Christian Wood, Keldon Johnson, Domantas Sabonis, Tyrese Halliburton.
Holy shit, that is hard.
Give me which guys are averaging 20 points per game. 3 of them are, 3 of them aren't.
So I don't think Fred VanVleet's been having a really, in everybody's eyes, been having a bad year. And to me, a bad Fred VanVleet year would be under 20 points a game. So I'm going to say Fred VanVleet, right off the rip, has not been averaging 20 points a game. Sabonis, I do think, has been averaging 20 points a game. So I got 1 and 1 there. Tyrese, he's tough. Halliburton, he's tough. Is he averaging 20 and 13 right now? Like, that sounds ridiculous. I'm going to say he isn't, because that'd be the crate. Like, he'd be a bona fide all-star at that point. I don't think that's what he is right now. So I'm going to say he's also not averaging 20 points a game. So that leaves me with Oubre,
Christian Wood, Keldon Johnson. And you have, based on what you've answered, 2 of them are averaging 20, 1 of them's not. Oubre, Christian Wood, Keldon Johnson.
I'm going to say Oubre and Christian Wood are both averaging 20 points a game this season.
So your final is Kelly Oubre, Christian Wood, Domantas Sabonis are all averaging 20 points per game.
Yep.
You got 1 out of 3 are averaging 20 points per game.
Oh, my word.
So technically you went 3 out of 6, technically. So okay. Kelly Oubre is averaging 20 points per game this year. You did get that correct. He's averaging 20.2 points per game.
Isn't.
He's been injured for quite a while, so that is why. By the way, like I said, recording this Wednesday, the 25th. Things could change by then. I have the exact numbers. Fred VanVleet is not averaging 20 points per game. You got that right. He's averaging 19.1 points per game. He has been like red hot the last week or so.
Gotcha.
He probably was only averaging like 17 or 18 before this past week. Christian Wood is not averaging 20 points per game. You said he was. He's averaging 18.4. Still having a very good year, but he is not averaging 20 points per game. Keldon Johnson is averaging 20 points per game. He's actually averaging the most points per game out of anyone on this list at 21.5 points per game.
I was totally taking a guess with Keldon.
Yeah.
I was like, I haven't paid attention to the Spurs.
Yeah,
I won't pay attention to them until they get Victor.
I was going to do Devin Vassell because he is slightly under 20 points per game. I think he's like 19 something.
Gotcha.
But I figured that would be an easy under for you. I wanted to kind of make it tough. Domantas Sabonis is not averaging 20 points per game. He's averaging 18.7 points per game. They have a lot of guys that score a pretty decent amount on that team, so it'd be difficult for him to get a crap ton. And then Tyrese Halliburton is averaging 20 points per game. He's averaging 20.2 points per game.
How many assists does he average?
Like
a
10.
game?
Yeah.
Oh, only 10?
Yeah.
I thought he was averaging like 13.
Yeah, I think he's averaging like a slightly over 10 assists per game.
He's been, man, dude, he's an all-star. He has to.
He has been injured for a little bit, though, but I still think he's an all-star.
He's such a monster,
He definitely
man.
is an all-star.
I love the way he's popularizing the jump pass. Have you seen his interviews about how coaches always told him not to? He's like, I'm doing it in the NBA. Like, it is okay.
It's pretty funny.
Pretty awesome. We're going to do another one of these. Who has he played for? I'm going to go with 2. One guy was an all-star, is now like a historic journeyman.
Okay.
And I want you to go in order for his teams, because that's how well-known he is. This player is Dwight Howard. Can you name me the teams he has played for in the order he has played for them?
All right.
So obviously he's played for a couple teams more than once.
Right. So first team is the Orlando Magic.
Yep.
Second team is the LA Lakers. Third team is the Houston Rockets. After this, I know the teams. I know them all. I'm just really trying to get my order right.
And I knew you would know them. I think I know
them. All right. So the next team is the Atlanta Hawks.
It is correct.
Okay, and then the team after that is the Charlotte Hornets.
That is correct.
And then the team after that is the Washington Wizards.
Right.
And then after the Wizards, okay, so this isn't my guess. I know he played for Philly, but I think he went LA, Philly, LA. So I'm going to say he went back to the Lakers after Washington.
Correct.
And then he went to Philly.
Correct.
And then he went back to LA.
Correct.
And now he's in China.
Yes, you nailed it. Got every single one right in order. That was actually pretty crazy.
The tough one was the Hawks and Hornets. I could not remember which one he went to first, but I remember when he was on the Hornets, he had that like 30-30 game or whatever. Like he had that crazy game. and I just remember that being after Atlanta for some reason.
I would have probably honestly forgot. I forget that he played in Houston because he was like really good in Houston. Next to James Harden.
He was still a good player.
Yeah, he was much better. Much better than he was in LA.
It was a big deal when he went there. Yeah,
I totally forget that he was ever there. That's like a part of. I remember Atlanta, Charlotte, and Washington better than I remember Houston.
Really, that's really weird.
I know, but I think it's just because the memes about Dwight playing for those 3 teams.
That's true. Yeah.
So like it's ingrained in my brain. The next guy that if you can name, this guy's much more of a role player. Currently one of my least favorite players in the NBA because I have to watch him a lot. Reggie Bullock.
Ooh.
What teams has he played for?
Do I have to do this one in order? Okay, because I was about to say.
If you name them.
There's no way I'd get these in order. Okay, so the Pistons. I'll get the Pistons out of the way. The Mavericks, obviously, right now. The New York Knicks.
Yep.
He was traded to the Lakers from the Pistons.
Yep.
So
you're missing before Detroit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm missing everything before Detroit. That's where it gets really tough. So I have to think of like a young Reggie Bullock. Oh, what does that even? What does that even look like? A young.
He was probably really bad.
How many teams is there?
2. And one of them he only played for 11 games. The other one he played like a full season and a half.
How long has he been in that? He didn't.
2014, 2013.
Really? That's kind of surprising. Because I'm just trying to, like, when did he get on the Pistons? Like 17? 18?
I think so.
One of those years. All right. Before the Pistons, Reggie Bullock. I have a team in mind, but I really...
I think he was a bench warmer on a really good Western Conference team.
See, I had an idea, and that does kind of reassure it a little bit. The Los Angeles Clippers.
The Los Angeles
Clippers
is correct. He was traded to the last team.
I kind of remember him being on the Clippers.
I remember him
just
in those
from
blue,
2K.
the light blue jerseys.
Really?
I remember him in those.
Yeah, I remember those jerseys. All right, so I'm missing in between Clippers and
Detroit.
I
can kind of picture him in this. Like, and I think you will be able to once you hear it.
Okay.
Western Conference team. He definitely played.
I know. The Phoenix Suns.
The Phoenix Suns is correct. I can picture that. For some reason.
I can too. Yeah, I do remember him on the Suns.
And I did not expect to be able to like. I read Phoenix is like, huh, and I was like, oh, I guess I can see it.
I really remember him. I'm not even remember the other. I remember him playing on the Suns with another guy, but I can't remember this dude's name at all. So that's the only reason why I thought of that. I did not think I would get Reggie Bullock.
You nailed it. You got every single one of them. Not one wrong.
That's huge. All right. Now that we're done with that, let's talk about NBA trade rumors. We'll talk about the trade that happened first. Rui Hachimura to the Los Angeles Lakers for Kendrick Nunn and 3 second-round picks. One of them are in this year's draft. I think it's the Lakers' second. I'm not really sure. Pretty big move from the Lakers. They don't have a lot of flexibility to make with trades that don't include those first-round picks that they don't want to trade or whatever. And to go get Rui Hachimura, who's a young player, trying to prove it, I think he's going to be on an expiring contract. He's having a solid season this year. He's dealt with injuries his whole career. But he gets out of a crowded room in Washington, comes to LA, and he's going to have a pretty big role. Yeah,
I think it's a great move for LA. You're getting a wing defender who can kind of score the ball. He's not like a great spacer by any means to pair next to LeBron, but defensively, he's going to work hard. He's young, which is something this team needs, I think. And he really is. I've liked Rui Hachimura since he came out of Gonzaga. I think this is a great move. You didn't really trade much for
Kendrick
a player.
Nunn is like,
he hasn't really helped.
They already have a lot of guards anyways. So
and this Rui Hachimura is an upside type player. He's still got upside. He could easily blossom into a very, very good player now that he's in a new situation. I'm really excited for this deal.
And I think at his worst, he's still better than Kendrick Nunn at his best.
Easily.
No offense to Kendrick Nunn or anything.
Well, remember when except for like Kendrick Nunn was going crazy a couple years ago.
I'm saying like current Kendrick Nunn.
Yeah.
Like he still is at Rui's worst situation, I think is still better than what you're getting out of Kendrick Nunn.
Yes, for sure.
In this current moment. So, yeah, it's a good move from the Lakers. I don't know if they're going to be done or not. But definitely a fire move because now you add more depth to that front court because, Thomas Bryant has been playing really well lately. Anthony Davis is coming back, I think, tonight, either whenever their next game is. I think it is tonight. So that is big for them. Dennis Schroeder has played well, so it gives him an opportunity for more minutes. Obviously, Russell Westbrook has played phenomenal off of the bench for the Lakers, and LeBron obviously continues to go off.
That last night was just ridiculous. How is he still doing that shit, dude?
You see how many fantasy points he got me?
How is he still doing it? This guy is 38, dude. And people
They
are
still lost, though.
People are calling him out after the game. You see the guy who was like, "Go back to Cleveland if you're not going to win games."
What?
Dude, he dropped 46?
He was in Cleveland winning games with the worst team, dude.
Like, I think it is so wild. He is so special at basketball. What an absolute monster.
And he's going to break the scoring record pretty soon.
We got to make sure we watch that game.
Yeah,
we can't
for
miss
sure.
that game.
Oh, yeah, I'll be watching
I hope I'm not on the road. I hope I'm not playing.
Yeah, that would be... Well, they played late anyways.
Yeah,
so.
Hopefully he breaks it in the... Well, what is it now? What's the...
Well, I saw it's like 184 points or whatever I think is what he needs. They showed a graphic before the game last night because I was watching it. It was like what he would have to average for each game to score it in this amount of games. And like they predicted like if he averages like 27 or 8, he would get it in 8 games. But he also put up 46 last night, so that probably lowers it a little bit. And they said if it was in either that 8th or 9th game, it would be at home. So that would make me assume that like 6 or 7 or 5 is away. I think he probably wants to do it at home, but also I would guess. He's going to score as many points.
He might just sit out,
to.
though. He might just sit out again. I could see.
It
would be weird.
It would be weird.
Is it the Staples Center
I'd want to
again?
get it over with. I don't know if it is the Staples Center.
I think it's something new.
Yeah, they changed it from the
crypto.
Yeah, they changed it to something else.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Because I think crypto went like bankrupt. I don't think they can own it anymore.
That sounds about right. So we're going to talk about a little bit more rumors in the NBA. This is like not. I guess what we're going to talk about is. It was predictions. It was bold takes before the trade deadline that Bleacher Report made. Bleacher Report is they make interesting articles about stuff like this. Quickly before, the only like rumors I've seen really is the Clippers apparently want to trade for one of Fred VanVleet, Mike Conley, Kyle Lowry. They want to get one of those veteran guards on their team. Reggie Jackson they view him more as a backup guard. John Wall hasn't been very good for the Clippers. I think they said that they would probably trade him in the deal.
Isn't Lowry a former Clipper?
No, he's not a former Clipper. He played for the Grizzlies and Rockets before.
Is Bledsoe?
Bledsoe
there
is
you
a former
go.
Clipper, yes. If you get any one of these guys, though, it'd be a good move.
Oh, yeah.
Lowry, I don't know.
Lowry.
He's definitely regressed. He doesn't get a lot of minutes anymore for the Heat. He has been injured for a good amount. Freddie would be cool. He'd definitely have to take on a lesser role. But I think Conley would really fit this team, and you probably get him the cheapest.
Dog.
Because, I don't know, Lowry's tough because like you have to take on that contract. Mm-hmm. I think Conley probably makes the most sense.
And he probably is the easiest to get.
That's what I was saying.
The Jazz are probably most likely to be like, yeah, I guess we'll just we're not going to do anything right now.
Marcus Morris and a 2nd round pick for Mike Conley, like
they don't and just buy out Marcus Morris.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't even need him.
So that was like the only rumor that I've seen. But yeah, so this article from Bleacher Report, it was made what is today? The 25th. It was made today actually.
What?
So that's pretty crazy. Bold predictions 2 weeks before the NBA trade deadline. So we're 2 weeks away.
Boom, confirmed.
First one is there will be more trades this year than last year. For reference, there was 16 trades at last year's trade deadline. These are bold takes, obviously. That's a pretty bold take.
That's a big time bold take.
This trade deadline seems like it's going to be really boring to me.
I feel like teams are going to really start buying Bojan, though. I think the Lakers are going to end up giving up a first for Bojan.
Oh, they said they would, but the Pistons are like, nah. Like, it has to be unprotected first.
Yeah.
The Lakers are like, no.
We want it top protected. 7. Yeah.
We're not doing that.
No, get us an unprotected, bro. Yeah. What you doing?
Plus, also,
I'm in no desire to trade away Bojan, by the way.
Yeah.
I love the idea of keeping Bojan for this year and next year, and then maybe extending them beyond that.
Yeah.
I mean, you watch what every team is saying about the Rockets right now. The only reason they're not saying about the Pistons is because we have Bojan, and he plays really good basketball.
Yeah.
And I would love to keep a veteran forward.
And I just don't
team.
really think that. I don't think that 2027 pick is like something that is as desirable as like the Lakers are making it out to be. Like, I understand that like we don't know how bad they're going to be and then, but we also don't know where the Pistons are going to be then.
Yeah.
Like, is Troy Weaver even going to be the GM of the Pistons? Does he want to go trade away a player that he has now for years from now where he could be fired?
Mm-hmm.
Like if just hypothetically, if the Pistons like continue to suck and they have to make a change, like it's not something that I necessarily am interested in that much. But yeah, I don't think there's going to be more trades because last year's trade deadline was nuts.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's happening this year.
Me either. I feel like too many teams are afraid to make a move almost. Like they don't want to screw up what they already have.
I think so too. So this one, at least two of the Grizzlies, Knicks, and Suns will trade multiple first-round picks at the trade deadline.
That would be awesome.
The Grizzlies have a bunch of picks like from the Lakers and the Pelicans and stuff still, so they don't even have to be their own. The Knicks have a couple picks that they traded away in this draft to get more for the future, and the Suns, I think, just have all of their own picks. So interesting. It would have to be, obviously, two of those teams going all in. I think the least likely team to do that, though, is the Grizzlies, honestly. I mean, they have continuously been a top Western Conference team without having to trade away all these picks. So, like, who are you going to bring in that's just going to take minutes away from guys that deserve them already?
Yeah, and their youth development has been incredible. I mean, look at the youth that's talented on their team. Jaren Jackson is a DPOY candidate. Brandon Clark is an incredible backup. Dylan Brooks, incredible backup. Desmond Bain is one of the best starting twos in the league now. And you've got John Morant, who you didn't have to build him.
Yeah.
He came in as John Morant.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if you got picks, if I'm the Grizzlies, I might just keep using them.
Yeah.
Get rid of my old guys and let's keep bringing in new guys.
Pretty much what they did with DeAnthony Melton. Like, Melton was, he was good, but like, hey, we got young dudes that should be playing, so
and
they traded him away. Yeah, exactly.
Slow-Mo's not on their team anymore.
So, but with the Knicks and Suns, it just depends. The Suns have just been really bad without Devin Booker, and I know Booker is going to come back eventually, but you don't want to risk missing the playoffs and losing out on your pick unless you can make it protected. But you look at the situation like the Chicago Bulls are in right now, where they traded away their picks to get win now talent, and they didn't win now, and now they suck.
And now those picks are valuable as hell.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like one of them is Franz Wagner, and the other one is going to be probably top 10 again this year. So it's tough. The Knicks don't do it either. I don't think any of them do. Now that I'm thinking about it, because the Knicks they're just waiting on that big trade. They've been waiting on that big trade for like 5-7 years now, but they're still waiting on it.
Dude, it's been so long. I mean, they have been in trade talks for so long.
They're just waiting for that star to like want out, but they still aren't going to be able to get them. That's the worst part.
Like, you're not getting them.
All right, next. And none of these are like, this guy is getting traded for this guy. They're all just
I like these. These are fun.
So this one of these teams will join the list of sellers. So these are teams that like you wouldn't really expect to be sellers, but would. The Chicago Bulls, the Toronto Raptors, the Portland Trail Blazers, and the Washington Wizards. So one of these teams is going to sell at the deadline, pull an Orlando Magic from 2 years ago at the trade deadline, trade all their good guys away, and go full rebuild. Out of those four teams, Wizards, Blazers, Raptors, and Bulls, which team would you expect to do it? Most expect to do it?
Oh man, it's tough to say the Bulls because they just have their own pick. They don't have their own pick, so why would you sell at that point?
I think it's top 4 protected. So like you would have to commit to like getting lucky in the lottery, obviously.
Be bad.
For reference, right now the Blazers are 3 games under 500. The Raptors are 6 games under 500. The Wizards are 5 games under 500, and the Bulls are 3 games under 500. So all these teams are right in the same mix here.
So that kind of backs up my thought process. I think the Raptors, if any team is going to sell, it would be the Raptors. They're comfortable, I think, selling right now. They've got a ton of young talent, and they're not ready to win right now. And they've got some players who can really help, like Freddie. Freddie would be a great player to move. Mm-hmm. I don't think that means moving Spicy P or moving Scotty, but at that point, are you really selling?
Probably not, right? I don't
really know. I don't see the Blazers selling. I think as long as Dame is there, you have to try to win every single year. And I love their roster. I really do. I love Simons. I love Josh Hart. I love Jeremy Grant.
They're starting
five. I love Nurkic.
Nice,
I mean, they've got an awesome starting five.
It's just like that. The Raptors and Blazers are two teams that have just like, I mean, not really the Raptors. They've kind of been this mid all year, but like the Blazers have just fallen off. Mm-hmm. The Wizards, they're not going to because they have Bradley Beal.
And how do they sell? Like, get rid of Porzingis? You just traded for him.
You saw what he got traded for last year was Spencer Dinwiddie and Davis Bertans, and that was it. Like, what is the price? I mean, Porzingis, I will say, he is having a really good year, for sure. But the price tag is not as high as I think they would expect it to be. So they're not going to sell, but also they have Bradley Beal. To me, selling is like you are trading away your top 4 best players.
That's what I think,
that's kind of what I'm picturing. So Portland's not doing it. Is it going to be the Raptors? The Raptors have never sold. They've been like good. Masai Ujiri is like big on like we're a good team. Like, and they took 1 year off and they're back into contention again.
So if you sell Gary, you wouldn't get rid of Gary Trent
What,
if you're
would you?
moving on from Fred VanVleet.
I think you low-key consider getting rid of everyone except Scotty Barnes, though.
Oh, man, dude, I like Spicy
I'm not saying
P.
that you have to, but like...
I think you consider...
No, I like him too, but his price is at an all-time high.
Yeah, it is. You're right. But do you think you'd be bad enough if you kept those two and sold everybody else that you'd be bad enough to get top picks again? Or do you think those two make you too good?
If you get other first-round picks, then you just keep rolling with it, and if you are bad or good, it doesn't really matter because you have multiple picks. But if you don't, I think that they're still going to be like a decent maybe team. Make the play-in type team, you know? So I think if you do sell, you kind of got to commit to it. One interesting thing I heard on the Through the Wire podcast was, because the whole Anthony Simons, Dame Lillard thing has kind of been a replica of Dame and CJ almost. As far as like Simons is better when Dame doesn't play, Dame is better when Simons doesn't play. It was a Simons for OG type of trade.
I
don't know if you put in other guys or whatever. That's interesting.
I love that trade.
Because then Toronto can look to move on from Fred VanVleet, maybe get another wing or go get a center. And then you have you can still be not that good, because then you are your young core. It sucks trading OG because he's been one of the better defensive players in the league this year. I think he leads the league in steals. But you have Simons, Trent, Barnes, Siakam, and then whatever else, Yeah, and
hopefully you trade VanVleet at that moment.
And then if you have,
that's a sweet team, dude.
Yeah, if you have if you're Portland, you have Dame, OG, Josh Hart, Jeremy Grant, Nurkic with Shaden Sharp, Gary Payton off the bench. Like,
is there another older guy that they could trade to Portland for Anthony Simons
on Toronto? Currently on Toronto,
because it'd be kind of nice for Portland to get more depth.
Yeah,
they definitely have a depth issue in Portland.
An old like Chris Boucher, maybe
Kem
Birch.
Oh man,
no one that's that good.
Yeah, because I was looking today when I was looking for those players to do that list for. There was not a lot of old journeymen in the league. The league is stupid young.
I know.
You go roster to roster, every team, their only old guys are contributors.
Yeah,
and that used to not be the case. There used to be a ton of old guys that filled up the bench. Not the case
all on
anymore.
The Lakers.
All the Lakers. But I really do think. And you couldn't do OG and Gary Trent for picks and Simons.
No, and that's OG or Gary Trent going back
to Portland.
Because that's the thing. Those two teams have made a trade deadline trades in the last couple of years. The Norman Powell for Gary Trent thing was kind of out of nowhere, and that was a big time trade. So Simons, I think, would make sense on Toronto, and OG would make sense on Portland. But I just don't know if they're willing to do that type of trade right now. It's because you just extended Simons to a 4-year, $20 million a year contract, and Toronto, OG's having the best year of his career. You're probably not trading him just for another guy. You probably are trading him for like younger. I don't know though. Maybe you are. It's tough.
It's so weird.
But the team that we didn't mention that I do think is the most likely to sell is the Chicago Bulls. They lost to the Indiana Pacers last night with T.J. McConnell absolutely giving them a game. Benedict Mathurin hit a clutch three. It's the Bulls. I think out of these four teams, would they sell? It's them. I don't know if they will because, like we said, you sell this team and you're like, all right, we got to really commit to this top 4 pick, and then you get the 5th pick and you don't get it. And now you don't really have anything to build around. So it's really risky to do that. Maybe you just play this season out, and then next year you go, all right, now we'll trade everybody.
Do they start having their picks next year?
Yeah, this is the last year they don't have their picks.
That is going to go down as just such a. I mean, obviously, if the Magic don't really win anything,
is gone.
It's a wash. Like if Magic never wins.
But what if that pick, what if that pick is a really good player? Because Franz Wagner's a really good player.
Yeah, well, and they gave them Wendell Carter Jr.
Exactly. Yeah.
They just said, "Here, take him," and he's a monster. No, that's a terrible. You're right. If they take another stud and put him next to Fred or Franz, it's gonna be a problem.
By the way, the Orlando Magic, they have the best young core in the NBA.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. Not counting teams that are already good, like the Pelicans or just any of them other teams. Yeah, they have. I saw somebody tweeting about it, and a lot of people in the comments were because this guy just said what team other than Orlando has the best young core, and everyone's like, bro, the Pistons.
No,
dude, I'm a huge Pistons fan. I think they might be second, but the Magic have so many dudes. They just have a ridiculous. We have Cade, but if Cade wasn't hurt, it might be different because we just haven't gotten to see him, and everyone's forgetting about him.
Who's our young blossoming core? Duran, Cade,
Ivy.
and Ivy. Yeah, that's
Bay,
the 3.
Sadiq.
Yeah,
Sadiq, Killian Hayes.
Yeah.
like that core, and then obviously we're gonna have another guy added.
But
to
you
this
go
team.
against Paulo, Bobo, Franz Wagner, even I'll go
Wendell Carter,
Caleb Houston.
yeah, Cole Anthony, Jalen Suggs,
Yeah. Their team is nice.
RJ
dude.
Hampton. I mean, he doesn't play
Mo
much
Bamba.
anymore. Yeah,
He's got hose.
He's gonna get traded. Actually, they were just talking about that. They have They have an insane young core.
Absolutely.
And they've been playing good too. The Thunder though are also in that mix because they have Shea. All right, next thing on here. There's not much else on here. We have at least one thought to be seller becomes a buyer.
Ooh, who's buying?
4 teams that we thought were going to be like, oh, this team's going to suck all year. Nah, they're going for it. The 4 teams listed are the OKC Thunder,
What?
the Utah Jazz, the Indiana Pacers, and the Toronto Raptors. So now they were just thought to be a seller, and now they're a buyer. So once again, I will give a standings outlook just to paint a picture here. The Thunder are 1 game under 500 at the 11 seed in the West. What were the other teams? Oh, the Jazz are 500 at the 8 seed, which is crazy that there's 2 teams between the Jazz and the Thunder when they're half a game separate, actually. The Pacers are 1 game under 500 as the 9 seed, and the Raptors, once again, are 6 games under 500 as the 12 seed.
The only team. Okay, so here's my thought process. I don't see the Jazz. I don't really get why the Jazz would try to commit to winning now. I would hope I hope they sell. I really do.
Yeah.
The Thunder, the only reason you sell is because you've got this influx of young players that at this point you need to start trading some. You can't keep them all. And if you just let them go, they're worth nothing. So maybe you trade a couple picks and get better young talent, or because you don't want to start winning. I mean, like your goal is, I guess you could start winning.
They're good. Like they've been winning. I mean, like I said, they're 1 game under 500 right now.
Yeah, and if you go out and let's say they trade for Fred VanVleet wouldn't be good for that team. What would be it? Porzingis?
Like for the Thunder?
Yeah, who would be a good player that they could go buy?
Yeah, I don't.
Like that's what my thing is.
Porzingis wouldn't be bad.
Porzingis wouldn't be bad
because you bring him back next year, like him and Chet Holmgren together. Could be interesting. Yeah, maybe you fight to make the play-in this year because then Porzingis isn't a bad one. So other guy, like maybe you go get Jakob Poeltl from the Spurs because he's youngish. He adds to that core. Maybe.
Don't get Vooch.
Probably not.
Don't do him.
Because the Thunder are in a weird spot where it's like, yes, they're doing better, but could they benefit from getting another top pick?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. You draft like your future 4 or 5 and play them with Chet because they run giddy at the 4. I mean, like their starting lineup is like Shea, Jalen Williams, Lou Dort, Giddy, and like one of
lineup.
Muscala, Robinson Earl, or Baisley. It's like they run a weird starting
Robinson
5.
Earl is wild.
Yeah.
It's so funny that they just have so many. Every player that you remember from college feels like they're on their team, or they've got the foreign guys.
Hell, they've been starting Isaiah Joe too with lineup.
Isaiah
what?
Joe.
So
who is that guy?
It's literally just
Who
like
is he?
The Thunder, I don't think they will. I think they just play it out because you have Chet Holmgren coming back next year. So if you don't make it, you can say, hey, we had a good year.
Yep.
But if you do make it, hey, we made it without Chet Holmgren and he's coming back. And we're still going to have like 5 first-round picks probably.
Yep. I really want to see
Maybe this is the offseason where they make the big splash.
It would be so cool. That's what I really hope. I want them to at this point.
Yeah.
They've got all the tools
It'd be
to.
pretty sick.
The Raptors are a team I really could see buying.
I think so,
but they're
too.
just so far away from playoffs right now. They're so far under 500.
Yeah,
but
I think they could because Siakam is having the best year of his career, probably.
Easily.
Fred VanVleet is having a down year, respectively, for him the last few years.
Yeah, shout out Freddie.
OG's having a career year, so it's like, what do you do? They're in a weird spot, but I could see that happening. Pacers and Jazz, I for sure could see the Jazz because they have all them picks from the Timberwolves and Cavs, and the Timberwolves suck. So, like, they're a solid team. I did see a trade, though, that was, like, Lowry Markkanen getting traded.
No way.
And then, like, going to full sell. And that was like, I can't see that.
You can't find gold like that and dump it so quickly.
Yeah.
You have gold in your hands.
But they have multiple sellable pieces still. but also guys that contribute to wins.
Yeah,
so it's like
exactly.
maybe you buy
Try to
in.
win.
You know,
Yeah.
you go get a big man. That's probably what they need. It's just a solidified big.
I bet you the Timberwolves would give him back Rudy Gobert for like
Probably.
nothing.
Just go get Nas Reed.
Can
from
we have
him, yeah.
2 picks? Like just 2 of them
Just
back.
give us one back, please.
Like, please.
And then the Pacers, I low-key can see the Pacers too, because like we've
I
talked
would
so
hate
long
that.
about Miles Turner.
Would hate it.
We've talked so long about Miles Turner getting traded, and it's like I think he fits this core. Like he's pretty good with them. They have sellable pieces, you know, like Hield and Turner and McConnell, but also they have young guys as well. So they're playing well. They have Rick Carlisle as their coach.
It would be bad.
Yeah.
I mean, they would just be right back into mediocrity.
where they were, yeah.
Like with
Unless
Malcolm
they-
Brogdon,
yeah.
like 2 years ago, where they were.
Unless they take a jump, who knows? You know, it depends on who they get.
Yeah,
but
they just never. That team's in like.
they'd have to
infinite.
get like a 4
Yeah.
for sure, which I don't know what kind of. Ooh, if you could go get Kuz, dude.
Oh, dude, Kuz would be
Ooh,
awesome.
He would be nice on that. You trade like your
I
lottery
need to get a
protected
Kuz
pick
jersey
this
before he
year.
leaves.
He's gonna get traded. I think they like pretty much said he's gonna get traded.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I need to get a jersey.
Yeah, that white Wizards jersey is like I like Beal, but I don't know if like I like him enough to get a jersey. You're gonna get the Kuz jersey, so like, I don't know do I get a DeLon Wright jersey?
No.
The Porzingis jersey? I don't want that.
No.
The Johnny Davis jersey, played 5 games in it.
Might never wear a Wizards jersey again.
Hey, Devin Booker to be reevaluated in 1 week.
Ugh. You think I can go
Wow.
get Porzingis off Jake and Sleeper? I've been trying for a
Maybe.
while, but his team's terrible. Just give him to me. I've been
He doesn't
trying.
have his pick though. He doesn't want to sell. All right, I think that was the last thing. Yeah, there was also one more thing in there. Oh, I remember it. It was like one of these 3 teams will trade picks down like 2027 or further, and it was the Lakers, Clippers, and Celtics. Okay.
Yeah, I would if that were them.
Cool. If they did, we don't have to worry about that till 2027.
Yeah, we got a few
so
years.
whatever. All right. We could talk about I wanted to talk a little bit about like what do the Pistons do if they don't get Victor Wembanyama, but that's also something we can just talk about next week.
Yeah.
And we can continue to talk about that because it's a scary reality.
It was funny. Me and Gator were talking about it the other day on the bus.
Really?
It's a scary thought
It
because
is.
the next guys are positions we pretty much have filled right now currently.
Because you watch games like last night and it's like, we get the first pick. It's like, what if we get the 4th pick? You
Yep.
know, like then what do we do? So we'll talk about that another day. Quickly before we get into this draft, Amani Bates last night scores 43 points for Eastern Michigan, scores 29 straight points to end the
Crazy.
first half. To score 29 straight points in any level of basketball is just unreal for your team, obviously. They still lost. Like, they're still a terrible team.
How did that happen?
So, yeah, that's pretty nuts. But I've seen he's not been a first-round projected pick in most mock drafts, so I don't know what's going to happen with Amani Bates. We'll see. He had a great game.
Yeah, it's so
just
interesting.
it's really weird. Some team will take a flyer on him, obviously.
Amani's so weird, and part of it's just the weird things that have happened.
Yeah,
since
he's had a weird storyline.
weird career.
Remember
when he was like the top prospect we've seen?
Yeah.
In
there was when
bef-
Cade Cunningham was a senior in high school. They were like Amani Bates, like
they were still talking about him.
24/7 did like a high school ranking, not by class, just in high school. And Amani Bates is number 1 as like a sophomore, and it was just like,
And
what?
like, he just like, has he gotten any better since the sophomore? I mean, obviously he has, but like
He was playing against MHSAA. Not saying he's not good by any means. I'm not saying
Yeah,
that.
don't take
But,
this the
like,
wrong way.
The MHSAA is like, it's not the best.
No, hell no.
You know, but like also when they played against like Chet Holmgren in that game, like he played pretty good, and he was, like it's weird. I don't
he's
really
so
know.
weird. Shout out Monty though. Big game
for
last
sure.
night. Shout out.
And then just a quick little Big Ten, not update, but Michigan State lost a tough one to Indiana on the road Sunday. We fall to 5-4 in the conference. Still projected to be a 7 seed in the bracketology though, so that's cool.
How the hell does that work?
Michigan is tied for 2nd in the Big Ten right now, which is just ridiculous. I mean,
We don't play
They are
nobody.
not that. They have literally just played the bottom feeders of the
bottom.
Big Ten so far. It's gonna get ugly. It starts on Thursday. They play Purdue, which it'll be fun to see Dickinson versus Zach Edey for sure. And then their schedule is going to continuously get harder. And Michigan State, we play Iowa at home on Thursday. That's a big game. And then we have Purdue again on Sunday, which is at Mackey Arena, so it's going to be tough. because we barely lost to them at home, but it's obviously a lot different on the road. So those are some upcoming Big Ten games.
I've been watching a lot of NBA hoops this year compared to college hoops, and I think it's because Michigan's so down. I've been turning on a lot of NBA games at night.
Same. I like during like the regular like evening night, I'll watch like college basketball because that comes on earlier than NBA typically if the Pistons aren't on. I mainly just watch Big Ten though, like just because I like betting on the Big Ten games. But then I'll watch like the NBA games at night when I'm in bed and stuff. All right, are we cool to hop into this draft?
Yeah, you sent it to me and you didn't explain the rules. I have no idea what we're doing.
We are doing a Western Conference starting 5 draft. So this is only players that are in the Western Conference right now that you can draft. We're building the best starting 5. I figured this would be. I picked this because next week we can do Eastern Conference. So
yeah, and we don't have to do. Let's make it clear. We don't have to go point guard, shooting guard, small forward.
No, you can draft whatever you want because obviously.
Well, yeah.
Where is my pen? Oh, it's right here. All right. Pick a number between 1 and 2.
Oh, I hate this game.
I'm not gonna change it. I promise.
1.
It is 1. So would you like the first pick?
Yeah.
Okay, I figured. All right. I have a picture of the Western Conference, by the way. I know you don't have your phone if you just want to like scour the teams. There's a guy who obviously I would like to have first, but go ahead.
I don't know who that guy is.
Starting 5 draft, Western Conference. You're on the clock. Who's the first pick? Who's the best player in the Western Conference?
Who's the best player in the Western Conference?
Or at least that you want to build your team around.
Oh my God, this is a much harder question.
You want to look at this? Like
no.
Okay.
Like I have. There's 2 guys I'm thinking. It's between Jokic and Luka right now. I'm going with my guy. Give me Luka. Give me him. I love him. He's my favorite. He's playing the 1 too. He's playing point guard.
Okay.
Probably.
So I have a guy that I want to pick here, obviously, but I have another guy that I really want to get in the next round. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm taking Jokic with my first pick. I think I would have taken Jokic over Luka. I don't know why. To me, building a team around Jokic is more fun than building a team around Luka.
And I totally get that.
Because like Luka, I'm just getting like Buddy Hield on my team, not like the star players or anything.
With my second pick, I think I'll take Reggie Bullock.
Hey man, shooter.
No, I really don't know. Let me think. I'm thinking.
You can look if you want. Like, you don't just have to
you're right.
think about the teams. I don't have the players listed, but I assume you can think of players on teams. So,
okay, I am going to pair Luka Doncic with Zion Williamson at the 4.
Okay. That's a fun one.
Give me Zion.
All right,
what a dog. Oh man, that's probably the wrong pick. I'm going with it. I'm rocking with it. There's a lot of players.
Okay, so I'm gonna take my guy that I wanted to get here. This is pretty fun. I'm gonna take Steph Curry. I think Steph Curry and Jokic is a really super fun duo.
Yep.
So Steph and Jokic is my 1 and 5. I just got to build everybody in between.
He just came back. He's a baller. I think he's the perfect player to stick next to Luka. Give me Kawhi Leonard.
Ooh, I wanted that.
Give me Kawhi.
Kawhi has been absolutely balling
He's
lately.
Been wild.
Man, I wanted Kawhi as well. Okay, so I don't really want to like go through the guys I'm thinking about because like you might draft him.
I think the next guy I take is going to be crazy.
I mean, like, I this is an obvious one, so I'm just going to put it out there. But, like, Ja Morant's on the board. But it's like, I have Steph Curry. Like, do I want Ja and Steph?
I'm doing the same thing with Luka right now. Like, do I really need another guard?
I don't know. Like, I wish Donovan Mitchell was still on the Jazz. He would be, like, the perfect guy
would be.
to put here. Do I draft Rudy Gobert? Like, I don't really know. Okay, I know Ja is on the board, but I think Shea fits this team better. So I'm taking Shea over Ja. I know, but
he knows.
I think it fits better. So give me Shea.
So I'm either gonna move Luka to the 2 because I can easily slide Luka over, especially if you've got Shea, and our teams are gonna play each other. Yeah, give me Ja.
Okay,
Ja's gonna play the 1 for me.
All right, so now I'm looking for a 3 and 4 here. Oh my God, dude.
There's a guy.
We just forgot a major guy.
Who?
Give me LeBron James.
Okay, no, I didn't. How different are LeBron and Luka? Like, does that really work?
No, I know. I just like, if I'm being honest, I didn't look at the Lakers. Like, I just forgot about the Lakers.
Yeah, and like, I'm taking Anthony Davis with my 5th pick.
Yeah,
he starts at the 5 for me.
All right, so AD at the 5. Yeah, that I was gonna draft AD next, probably.
Yeah.
All right, so I have Steph, Shea, LeBron, and Jokic at the 5. We're gonna get so clowned for that. Okay, so now do I want to play LeBron at the 4 or the 3? I think like just getting a 3 and D guy here would be perfect, but it's also like I just don't want to.
Dude, my team is loaded.
I don't want to pass on.
You
like,
have like
star.
a tough job playing my team. My team is wild.
I feel like my team is like way better.
Your team might be. Very well could be.
Okay, I think I know who I'm gonna take.
You have Jokic, Steph, and LeBron. That's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Zion was probably a bad second overall pick. I probably could have gotten him later.
I think I know who I'm going to take. Like, Şengün and Jokic would be cool. But I'm not going to do it.
Şengün's value is at an all-time high.
Give me Paul George to play the 3. So my starting 5 is Steph Curry, Shea Gilgeous, Paul George, LeBron, and Jokic. Your starting 5 is Ja Morant, Luka, Kawhi, Zion, and Anthony Davis.
Pretty wild. Couple of teams.
Pretty wild.
My team is much more defensive heavy, I think. My team is, and not like defensive heavy, we're very offensive heavy, but I think my team is the better defenders.
Yeah, probably. So, like, did you forget about the Lakers, too, or did you, like...
No, I was just, But,
like, Kawhi over LeBron?
Yeah.
Like, and you, like, willingly did that?
Yeah, just like...
I just didn't know if you did.
Yeah, I totally did. And the reason was because, like, again, LeBron and Luka together, to me, sounds crazy.
Yeah.
The 2 most ball-dominant players, probably in NBA history, on the same team. It's just going to be the worst offense ever. I mean, it would just be those 2 fighting over who gets to run the pick and roll each possession. But again, the pick and roll with Zion is going to be lethal because AD spaces the floor, Kawhi can space the floor well, and you're defensively you can switch almost everything.
Pretty much, yeah.
And I love being able, like Zion or Anthony Davis or Kawhi can all play free safety. We stick them on the worst offensive player, and they play free safety. They're
Except
running
you're
around
playing
block.
against me. I don't have any worse offensive players.
Yeah, the guy I'm probably... Who am I? Yeah, I'm not helping off anybody on your roster. No. But I am clamping some dudes up. Dude, Steph and Shea are going to have a field day. They are going to have a field day on Luka and Ja.
Steph. Imagine, like... Oh, dude, this would be crazy.
This game would be
We're just going to have to put these teams in 2K and play against each other.
On the park.
Yeah, exactly. All right, that's it, everybody. Thank you for watching, and bye.
Peace.